Do it. We're live.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, God.
It is Monday Madness.
Oh, my gosh. I'm in London. I have a whole bunch of gooners here who turned up at the house who love Super Kev. Get ready, gooners. It is the Highbury Squad. No matter where in the world you might be. Oh, gosh. Now, Mum's... Dear God, it's all happening, Super Kev. It's a hot mess. It's Monday Madness. Here we go.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
A lightning start for the Highbury Squad today. Welcome everyone to the show. And that was Rocco's mum calling in as we were doing the introduction to the show. But we don't care because it's Monday and Super Kevin Campbell is here, my podcast brother from another mother.
Hi, squaddies. Don't forget, after salute, hit the like button. We need it today because this is a really magical Monday Madness. So let's go at ease.
Super Kev, as you know, I am in Blighty and I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear. All the usual suspects in the house. I do have the red and yellow cards with me, but something tells me I'm not going to need them tonight. Super Kev, exactly, Liz. Super duper Kevin Campbell. All the boys were singing Super Kev. And then the minute we went on air, I was like, we're on air. And they were like, use the F word. Of course, they dropped the F-bomb. Oh, I don't want to be on air. They gave it all large beforehand, Super Kev.
Give it the big one. Oh,
Give it the big one. Good evening to all the squaddies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. What a weekend. It's been amazing. Kev, we've got some housekeeping to do before we kick off.
I think it's a bit more than that.
We've got a lot to talk about tonight. But before we do, so you know a lot of people love our show. But since I've been here, I've been inundated a little bit with messages from people who love the Highbury Squad, who enjoy listening to us. And let me just tell you that it warms the cockles of my Greek heart, okay, that we get these kinds of messages. So I've got some special shout outs to do before we kick off and talk about our gooners, all right?
Brilliant.
The first one goes to Zane, who is a mad fan of the show. Zane, his fiancée Shen, they've got a little baby called Emre, right? Their mum Tracy was telling my cousin's wife about how much he loves the show, loves listening to us, doesn't miss anything. In fact, tonight he's got a babysit and he's going to listen to us on replay. So, Zane, we love you as much as you love us. Thank you for listening. You're a top shelf geezer and your mum is an epic human being as well. This is what I've heard.
Top man, Zane. And thank you, Tracy. Yes. Thank you, Tracy. Keep them all in check, Tracy.
Keep them all in check. Zane, you'll be hearing from me after the show as well. Don't you worry about it. Next one, Kev. Daniel Waters, another super listener of the show, absolutely loves it. His wife, Mel, was telling me about how much he loves it. And so, Daniel, a very special hello and message to you from me and from this legend, Mr. Super Kev.
Mel, Dan, listen, you make sure you look after yourselves. Mel, keep him listening, please. Keep him listening. As long as he enjoys it, that's the most important thing.
All right, the next one, Peter Fiore, who loves you, Kev. He's a coach as well and a teacher, and he's a family friend. And guess what? Ran into him in Sainsbury's today. Could you believe it? My cousin George dragged me to Sainsbury's, right? I mean, I'm here on kind of a vacation work thing, and I get dragged to Sainsbury's, which, by the way, I don't mind because I do love a little bit of Sainsbury's. Go in there, ran into not one, two, but three people. You'll know about it in a second. And Peter Fiore, who's a top shelf geezer and a gooner through and through, loves you, wanted to say hi.
Peter Fiore, all the very best. And I hope you got your shopping done because when you bump into the famous Sophie, Usually no shopping gets done after that, mate. Listen, have a good one and keep watching. We thank you for we thank you for watching us and for all your support. Thank you very much.
Right, Kev, I've got another one. Do you remember DJ Tony Perry on our show?
Yes.
We love DJ Tony Perry.
Yeah.
Ran into his mum, Sue, today at Sainsbury's. Super Kev.
Oh, lovely. Sue.
And guess what? DJ Tony Perry, as we know, has had a little bambino, little Leo. But now Sue is also grandma to twins, Super Kev.
Really?
Twins. Yes.
Well, congratulations to you, Sue. Congratulations, DJ Tony Perry. Listen, it's all going on where they are.
It's all going on. And also listening in the house right now is Rocco, Roman, Harry, and George. And they're loving this, and they're loving that you are here in the living room. I know you got to speak to a couple of them before the show, but Super Kev.
Listen, you know, big respect to George, the main man about the house. You know that. Roman and Harry, who are off to university, different universities, Leeds and Nottingham, respectively, I believe. And Rocco, who is a quality rugby player, but a massive gooner as well. They're all gooners. You get the salute. Thank you so much. At ease, boys.
At ease, everyone. So 6 minutes in, we've not talked about the Arsenal, but we've paid homage to gooners everywhere that we've run into since I've been in London.
It's all Arsenal, though. It's
Kev,
all Arsenal.
I love it. I love it. And look, we've got listeners from India in the house, the United States, Liberia, Australia, Nigeria, Canada. They're everywhere, right, Super Kev? Let's get on with the football talk, shall we, for now? And then we'll do a little bit more because I want you guys to know about the Gooners v Cancer event that's happening on Friday in Hackney in London. We're going to raise some really good money, and there's great people on the panel that are going to be talking about our beloved Arsenal. Super Kev, is it okay to celebrate football? Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the game, or do you want to start with the juice?
I want to start with the juice because you know what? Back in the last season, we saw it start to rear its ugly head on here. We addressed it on here. And I remember telling the squaddies, the moment we start doing even better, then you're going to start to see them rear their ugly heads again. They're going to start coming for us. So the season finishes. We don't do so well at the end. Did we hear anything? So, did we hear anything? No. We heard silence. We saw tumbleweed going down the street. But the moment Arsenal starts to win, top of the league, come from behind, and to concede in the second half of a game, and then win the game, we haven't done that for a number of years. Big London derby. You could see, look how many fans Fulham had there. And by the way, Fulham ain't a pushover. Let's have it right. Especially earlier on in the season. They've drawn with Liverpool. They've come to the Emirates and made a good account of themselves. But we got over the line. And here we go. Look at Mikel Arteta celebrating. Look at the players celebrate. Look at the fans celebrating. Like what have they won? It's only Fulham. Do you know what I say, Sophie? I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. This is the time there seems to be a really good connection between the fan base and the team. This is where we got to come together even more. Do you know what? I put a video out today titled "Celebrate Good Times Come On," and everybody knows that was a Kool and the Gang song. Let me tell you something, Gooners. Enjoy these times. It seems as though we are no longer staying in a heartbreak motel.
Where are we staying, Kev?
We're staying at the Savoy, right? We're at the Savoy in London now with the pristine Egyptian sheets, ordering room service with the
bathrobe and the slippers.
Bathrobe and the fancy slippers. And we've got
No
a
one
massage.
wants to say the roadside
And we've got a
motel.
massage book later. Guys, I'm telling you, enjoy every single moment. And do you know what I want? I want Richard Keys. I want all the lads on TalkSport. I want them all. We have some detractors on TalkSport and we have some supporters on TalkSport. So kind of it works out. But let me tell you something. Enjoy the wins, because you know what? You know when we were on the other side last season, Sophie, and we lost our first 3 games? They were panning us then. It's much better for them to come after us when we got 3 points in our back pocket. So do you know what? Celebrate good times. Come on, Gooners. Don't listen to them. Just stick with the Arsenal family. It's us against them. It always is, and it always has been.
George Graham taught you guys that, didn't he, Kev?
100,000,000%. It's always been that way with
What did
Arsenal.
George say to you? To remind everyone what George said to you and the lads back then.
Well, George, he always said, listen, guys, he said, what you guys have to understand is, he says, I don't even want to talk about my day, but we had it back in my day. Anytime we start remotely looking like we're going to do anything, you will start seeing the press come for us in a certain way. Some fans, he said, won't see it, but a lot of the fans will get it eventually. And I think a lot of the Gooner family are getting it now. They're starting to understand what this is all about. They don't want Arsenal doing well. They do not want Arsenal winning. Here we are, 4 games in, top of the table. We get no credit, do we? We get no credit. All we get is they've played nobody and they're over celebrating. It's only Fulham.
Isn't it amazing, Super Kev,
how disrespectful.
When Fulham drew against Liverpool on the opening day of the season, everyone lauded Fulham and said, under Marco Silva, this is a very different team. They're so much well organised. They handle the low block well. They can play against the 3 or 5. They do well no matter what formation they're facing. They saw and lauded Mitrovic last season for scoring an abundance of ridiculous goals in the Championship. But then we beat Fulham and come back from a deficit and show that, you know, some courage and show some archivia, as we say in Greek. Yes, some balls. And yet it's not as comparable. Now, Bournemouth was spanked by Manchester City. They were absolutely thrashed by Liverpool. We also took them to task. When Liverpool did it, it's like, oh, their comeback, they score 9 goals. When Manchester City do it, the champions showing their prowess again, and Haaland and De Bruyne and whatever. We beat them. It's like, it's only Bournemouth. My mind is blown with this narrative of the Arsenal. We beat Crystal Palace, who spanked us last season 3-0, humiliated us under the night lights at Selhurst Park. And then we come back and we take them to task as well and beat Patrick Vieira's team that let's not like argue about, because everyone was lauding them. Zaha, Eze, you know, their forward line, what they're doing, the way it's transformed their football since Roy Hodgson took over, totally evaporated his defensiveness and taken Crystal Palace into a new era in terms of how they play. They get lauded. We beat them. You know, first game of the season.
I heard today that it was a not ready Crystal Palace. That's what I heard today on TalkSport. Somebody piped up and said it was a Palace that were off. They weren't ready. That's not our problem, is it?
No.
And it's the first game of the season. If they beat us, it'll be like Arsenal ain't ready. Arsenal's crap. Arsenal this, Arsenal that. The moment you do the business, Sophie, they're going to come for us. And you know what, Sophie? Bring it on.
I love it.
I love seeing them make up all this nonsense. They should know better, but they know no better, because that's the thing that they can't get out. They can't get that bone from out of their gum. So Arsenal, that bone, we're in their gum, and let's keep the hook in there. In fact, let's pull the teeth out one by one this season. Nice and slow.
And here's the thing. I think that even though there are some people who may still question, you know, where we might go as the season goes, because they're concerned about our depth. Even those people, I think, are protecting the club when it comes to these subjects, Kev, because, you know, as fans, we can talk about what we might need, and we'll get to that a little bit when we get into the Fulham game, because as I've been talking to people over the weekend, there are still a couple of issues, and if we don't address those issues, where do we end up? But with that said, what I like and what I saw when I was at the Fulham game, thanks to my cousin George, and, you know, a lot of the singing, the chanting, the camaraderie, the togetherness. I think it's even elevated to when I was here in April, Kev, and went to a couple of home games like United and stuff. It's gone up a notch and a totally different level. And I think that's the difference. And that's what people are trying to continue to divide us, when I think there's the Ashburton guys, the clock end people, the different voices of the fan base. You know, whether you're a Gen X, you're an Alpha, you're a baby boomer, a millennial, no matter what, I think when people come at us like this, we go like this, you know?
Got to, yeah. Got to go,
Yeah.
got to come together as a club. And you know, so you're right, it has gone up a notch. But I tell you something, I've said it on air once and I've said it 1,000 times on air. Winning cures everything, Soph. Winning puts, you know, you got a difference of opinion and there's some beef sometimes. When you win, it puts it aside. It makes you start, all of a sudden we're streamlined a little more. You know, winning does make a huge difference, especially to this Arsenal fan base. You know, these players are doing us proud. The manager's doing us proud. You know, listen, again, there's nothing better than winning, because when you win, you start to see the plan. And I've got to say, Soph, a lot of the fan base were thinking of all or nothing, watching it with trepidation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually given us clarity as a football club to know what's going on behind the scenes, where it's going and why it's got to go that way. And the fact of the matter is, the non-negotiables, players have been kicked out of the club for whatever reason. And look at what's going on. There's something going on. I'm not saying we're going to run away with leagues and all. No, let's enjoy the moment. Let's enjoy the wins.
Yeah.
Why not? Because you know what? This is a lot better feeling this way than we did start last season.
100 million%. And there's definitely a culture change. And I think that the players that we've recruited from last summer, even though they were poo-pooed early on, they've proven themselves, from Ramsdale to Tomiyasu to Ben White. And now, like, when you look at what teams are paying for, you know, Tottenham paying for Richarlison, West Ham paying for Paqueta.
United.
We stole United paying for, you know, whether Anthony comes in or what they're doing. What we paid for Gabriel Jesus, who's a proven player, who's won the Premier League a good few times, played under one of the greatest managers of all time, especially in modern day football, at the price that we paid for him. I think you have to.
Jesus and Zinchenko cost less than Anthony.
And actually, did they cost even less than Richarlison that Tottenham paid for Richarlison? Maybe, I don't know.
I think together it's more, just more.
Richarlison was what, 70 for 60, Tottenham?
I think 60, I think.
Right. So when you look at what we've been paying for players, you can even go back to when Edu started doing the business, Kev, about how much he paid for Gabriel.
Yeah.
You know, how we stole Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid. You know?
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that now because we're going to talk about the game as well. But I just wanted to make sure that right off the bat, 550 of you in live chat right now, if you hit that like button, I'm going to bring Vinny out, our mascot. Here he is. He's wearing his Dicky bow on Monday.
Love that, with the Dicky bow on the Monday Madness. Look at that. So
look at Vespa
like button.
Channeling her Ramsdale. She loves Ramsdale. It's her favourite player. There's Vespa saving the day as per usual. And here's the gaffer, Kev.
And by the way, Ramsdale made a couple of really good saves when we really needed it at the last, didn't he?
He did.
So yeah.
Let's talk about the game. I want to get your take on it because I was there. The atmosphere was amazing. I didn't think that we played a great game in the first half. I thought that, however, despite that, we found a way. I was a bit concerned that we weren't finishing our chances. I don't want Jesus to get into this little rut because he's doing so much to help the team, Kev, and he does so much off the ball that is incredible, as well as what he does on the ball. I thought our back line has grown in confidence game after game after game. And despite, once again, another challenging moment, that player, like Saliba, overcame his own goal at the Emirates. Gabriel overcame his big, massive mistake and faux pas that allowed Mitrovic to score. Let's talk about just your hot take on everything, and then we can get stuck into a few players that I feel deserve to be highlighted. And one in particular that was my man of the match that some may agree or not agree with.
Well, for me, we dominated the game. Obviously, had a lot of possession of the ball. And first off, we probably weren't as free-flowing as we were in previous games. But we did have chances. And what happens, Soph, as we always discuss, when you're on top, you've got to take your chances. Because if you don't take your chances, the other teams stay in the game. And that's what happened. Fulham, fair play to them. You know, they rode their luck a little bit. They sat in, they defended pretty well. And let's be honest, they were waiting for a mistake, I suppose, you know, to try and give them an opportunity. And do you know what, Sophie? Gabriel made a howler, and Mitrovic, you know, we gave him the goal. He still had to finish it. He done well to finish it. But the events that happened right after that showed me, and it should show all the Gooners, that what's happening at Arsenal is totally different than it was before. Because what happened straight away? Odegaard and Ramsdale and everybody went up to Gabriel, picked him up. Mikel Arteta changed it straight away. A lot of people, I'm one of them, said, you know, Eddie ain't the answer. Eddie came on and done really well. He was a live wire, brought a bit of help to Gabriel Jesus. We saw Saka and Martinelli start switching wings. Went to 3 at the back, Soph, to really pin them in. That's what was needed, Sophie. That is what was needed. We needed to really start asking Fulham a lot more questions, and that's what we done. And you know what? I'm going to give a little bit of credit to Mohamed Elneny as well, Soph. A lot of people always said, what happens if Partey comes out? Elneny's like... Remember we said Partey goes about his business, has gone about his business in silence. Elneny went about his business in silence, so just kept us ticking over. That's all he needed to do, because now we got threats everywhere. We have got threats at the top end of the pitch who can do bits. We brought Eddie on, who was a live wire. We get back into the game 1-1, and then it's Gabriel to come up. For once, Martinelli put the ball, the corner, in the right spot, because it kept going a bit too high, didn't it? And Leno kept taking it. But when he got it right, when it mattered, we ended up getting the goal. Money. It was on the money, 2-1. Look, we can dissect the performances anyway, but I want to say this. I just want to say this. I think this is really important. So, after we conceded, the way the fans reacted, you were in the stadium, the way the fans reacted to the team, the roar went up, and it was like, come on. There was no or silence.
Right.
Everybody got behind the team. Trust me, that makes a huge difference to the boys on the pitch. And we saw it, and that's why we celebrate, because you know what? The fans played a massive part in it as well.
And I know, because one of the reasons why we love having you on the Highbury Squad is you take us beyond the white lines into the dressing room, and players do love it when fans are riled up. They feed off that. You even saw your old Forest, even though they conceded, they went 1-0 down. Henderson saves a penalty from Kane. The entire stadium is galvanized. There's a swell, there's a movement, and that's definitely been happening at the Arsenal. I want to challenge you on one thing, though, because I understand what you're saying about El Neni. And everyone, just please take it in the spirit of how I'm saying it, because I think we've seen that with certain players, they can come in and cover for 2, 3, 4, 5 games. But if there's a long-term injury, a player's out for 2 or 3 months. I think we saw towards the end of last season that we missed Tierney at that time because we didn't have the right cover. We missed Thomas Partey in the middle of the park, and we certainly missed Tomiyasu. And so, Kev, what concerns me just a little teeny tiny bit is, as well as El Neni did in this game, over a longer period of time, players like him, I'm not sure if you can rely on him, which is why a lot of fans still want us to get that cover in midfield or get that cover in the winger position. I'm going to talk about the right back position in just a sec, but I wanted your take on that because he's a good squad player, but I'm not sure I trust him if there's an injury a bit longer term, Super Kev.
Yeah, look, we can only speak about right now. I'm not saying Mohamed El Neni is going to be a Thomas Partey for 2-3 months, because he's not. He's a different player to Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey, if Thomas Partey is in there on Saturday, we win the game comfortably. That's what I believe, because of the way he plays and the way he breaks the lines with his passing. One thing El Neni won't do, El Neni will not hurt us. He'll keep the ball ticking over and he will not hurt us. Because we've seen decisions made where players have been in there and it's actually hurt us. But El Neni won't hurt us, but he won't necessarily win us the game through his progressive passing. So I understand what you're saying, Soph, but Mikel Arteta has to build a team that we will not be able to probably get adequate cover for Partey, because El Neni's the cover. But if the top end of the pitch is a lot better than it has been, we should be all right.
Kev, my cousin George says to me all the time, if Arsenal are going to succeed, Thomas Partey has to be as fit as a fiddle and play as many games as possible. Even though a lot of the euphoria is going to Saliba, Zinchenko and Jesus, you told me last season when I had moments of doubt because he couldn't stay fit, Soph, this is the guy. This is the player that is the nucleus to everything that we do. Do you agree with George and stand by your position from last season in terms of the importance of Thomas Partey? Even though we kind of got away with one, you said we win that game way more comfortably with him in it.
Yeah, I do. And, I think a lot of the time, fans sometimes see Thomas Partey and, they think he doesn't have a good game. But you only realize how good Thomas Partey is when he's not there, so that's when you actually realize how good the guy is. Obviously, I believe he's got a thigh. I think it's a slight thigh strain or a tight thigh. Maybe it was precaution why he didn't play in this game. And you know what? We got Aston Villa on Wednesday. Will he be fit for that? I don't know. What would you rather, Soph? Would you rather him miss that one and play Man United?
100%.
Or would you rather we risk him in against Aston Villa? I think we could get away with it against Villa, but we won't get away with it against Man United. No. We need him fit for Man United. We definitely need him fit against Man United.
Someone just said in the chat, and look, I know that on last season show, Tactical Squad, Josh famously said, infamously maybe, what's the point in having a Lamborghini in the garage if it doesn't happen, you can't take it out for a drive? And he was referring to Thomas Partey, of course, Super Kev. And there's a few people saying in the chat right now, party isn't that important, and then half of the fans party staying fit is crucial, like Peter. Partey's an expensive player. You know, apart from getting the Gilberto treatment, I think No Laguna's right here. Like remember I said, players like Thomas Partey work in the shadows, right? They don't have to be overtly obvious, but you love what they do. Is he the Fernandinho in this team? Is he, when Mikel Arteta was at City, what do you feel that's the mold of what
he plays that position. He plays that position now. Whereas you see Xhaka play a little bit further forward. That one holding player in midfield who nicked everything together is Thomas Partey. Getting it off the back, being able to play out, giving it to him even with people on him. He's still control, manipulate, beat people in the midfield, get the ball, good ball into Martin Odegaard. He's the perfect link from our defense to midfield. And we've seen him drive with the ball and pick Saka out, etc. previously with the right weight of pass. This guy, we know we need him fit all the time. We do. And for whatever reason, at Atletico Madrid, he was never injured. Comes to Arsenal when he's picked up injury after injury after injury. Hopefully, it won't be long. But unfortunately, this is why you have a squad.
Yeah. Kev, what was your take on Zinchenko not playing and Tierney coming in? Tierney was substituted after the 61st minute. You know, Tierney's been such a good player for us in a time where he came in when we were trying to get rid of a lot of the cancer in the dressing room and the players that were apathetic towards the Arsenal wearing the shirt. Clearly, you know, the Socrates Babassadopoulos of the world, Kolasinac, Mesut Ozil, Mustafi, all of those kinds of guys. Even Bellerin towards the end was not as engaged as we wanted him to be. Tierney kind of came in at a time where we needed someone to grab the ball by the horns and show they cared. And, you know, the Tesco bag made him a cult hero instantly. What's your take on now seeing Tierney play in that position versus missing Zinchenko? Talk me through that a little bit.
Well, I think we discussed it last week. They're two different players, and you could see obviously it's Kieran Tierney was a little bit rusty. We're going to get that. That's no problem. We can deal with that. But they're different players in the sense that Kieran Tierney is an up and down fullback. He goes up and down, sits there. If it opens up, he'll carry the ball forward and he'll try and get beyond it. He'll try and put crosses in. Zinchenko, on the other hand, plays in the different system where he goes from fullback into midfield to sit in there. And he's comfortable at fullback, in midfield, or wide. But what that does when he goes into midfield, you see Granit Xhaka then be able to move further forward. We couldn't afford Granit Xhaka to do too much of that on Saturday, solely because he didn't have the insurance policy that is Zinchenko behind him. So it does affect the team. But we've got to learn how to play both ways, Soph. Because there's going to be times when, as we said, Zinchenko weren't playing on Saturday. So we've got to find a way how to make it work. Yeah, Kieran Tierney, it's probably going to take Kieran Tierney 3-4 games if he starts back to back to get up to speed. You know, to get up to speed. But I've got no problem with that as long as we know how to play with Kieran Tierney. He's going to get better every game. But you know what? You do see a difference in the way we play and the control of the game without Zinchenko.
Yeah. And Cliff, by the way, as a Greek, I was always supportive of Socrates, but I just don't think at that time we had balance. Maybe Socrates would have done well with a better CB, Kev. Maybe Ozil would have done with a better defensive midfielder over the years. Maybe the Alexis Sanchez and Santi and Ozil trifecta was not, supported, and we couldn't take it to that extra mile because we didn't have the DM and like that pairing at centre back. I don't think we've had a better pairing at centre back, since, I don't know, maybe 10, I would say 15 years ago at the Arsenal. We've been so poor in that regard. And I think that what we've got right now is that, if Tierney's coming into a game against, a Liverpool, a City or a Tottenham or a Chelsea at this moment in time, and he's obviously still coming back to fitness, Kev, it's a challenge. And I don't want to disrespect Fulham in any way, because I thought they were great. I thought they handled us really well. I thought they pushed us. They provoked us. At times, I thought they dominated the flanks. They gave us a bit of a scare in the air, on the ground. They did all of the right things. We missed a ton of chances.
That was our problem on Saturday.
Which was surprising, Kev, considering how clinical we have been since the start of the season.
But Sophie, this is football. And you know what? Not every game is the same. Every game is different. And, I think that was such an important game for us to win and get over that hurdle. To get through that Fulham game was so big for us. As a dressing room, I'll tell you that much. As a dressing room, to get over the line, to be behind second half and to win the game, not draw, win it. I think the euphoria of that was why everybody was so pumped up at the end, because of the way we done it. And Gabriel as well, scoring the winning goal, just to, for redemption. We couldn't have wished for a better ending, really.
Yeah. Okay, start getting your questions in. I'll save them so we get you guys get some time with Kev so you can ask him a bunch of questions. It's going to be a crazy week for both of us. So get your questions in right now for Super Kev and we will answer as many as possible. I do want to talk about a player, Kev, that has been much maligned since he came to the club. I don't want to do player ratings because we usually do that the day of the game.
Yeah,
but I do want you to also talk to me about who you thought was the man of the match. This might come as a surprise to many. Okay, so for me, he's the man of the match, right? However, even though he's man of the match, Kev, Ben White, can we just
was excellent.
stop?
Was excellent.
Okay, can we start with Ben White? And as a player and your teammate, so he's brought into the Arsenal as a centre-back, but he's versatile. And the way the modern game is going, you've got specialists who can play various positions, and that's the beauty of football. Like, look at Zinchenko. If we have a problem in midfield, he can step into that role. Tomiyasu can play left-back. Ben White can play centre-back, maybe a DM role, and also a right-back. I want you to tell me, this guy has been ripped to shreds for being purchased for 50 million, and I think at times absolutely disrespected. He's stepping into a role now where I believe he's been one of our best players so far this season. And if Odegaard wasn't just so brilliant at that game,
he would have been man of the match. Yeah.
Correct. Can you please explain your thoughts to everybody and the kudos that he should be given stepping into that role that I think he's kind of making his own?
Well, I think it starts from the first game of the season, against Crystal Palace, where everyone was worried. Ben White's right back, Zaha's going to rip him a new one. Didn't. Zaha went after the Arsenal. Zaha came to the party, but not that day. Zaha wasn't prominent. We kept him to a clean sheet. And Zaha had some good moments, but Ben White really shut him down, especially second half. And then you move forward to the Leicester game. Then you move on to the Bournemouth game. And now we come on to Fulham. I thought Ben White has been getting better. He joined in a lot more at Bournemouth. I thought he joined in a lot more on Saturday without maybe the end product that we deserved. But you know what, Soph? Taking responsibility and defending that challenge he made for the block. in our box. That's a goal. That is a goal. So he stopped a goal directly. Maybe people think that's nothing. Maybe people think that's nothing. But let me tell you, when you've played the game and when you see the things Ben White is doing, he's tenacious. He's been tough, and his passing is still decent from the right back position. So, and he played 2 positions at the weekend. He played right back and he played right of a free. And when we needed him at times where, you know, we were pushing and they were starting to come down, probably our left-hand side, Ben White snuffed it out. He stuffed it out. He was excellent. Didn't really put a foot wrong all day. But you always remember there's always going to be some people in the team who some fans are going to think like that about. Give the man his respect. Please, give him his respect. He was, if it weren't for Odegaard's incredible play, he would have been man of the match for sure.
I agree. So let's get on to our captain. By the way, as you've seen, I've put in almost 800 of you in live chat. Hit that like button, or as Kev says, nut it, smack it.
Nut it, hit it, slot it in the corner, or just smash it. I want minimum 4 ton. Come on.
Don't get Kev, you know.
Brock it up.
Rocking it.
Because all them celebration police that got Brock up today.
In it. And then, you know, you don't want me getting this out either.
Take off them head, Sophie. Take off them head.
Kev, this is one of the things I was talking about with a lot of people over this weekend is why do some fans not understand Martin Odegaard? Like, I just, are there any fans still out there that don't understand him?
I'm sure there is. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Because do you know what, Sophie? He's one of these players who he's not the quickest. He doesn't. He's not forceful in a sense that he picks the ball up and he'll be direct and he'll just be beating people or whatever, or dropping the shoulder here and there. He's one of these players who is a schemer. What I mean a schemer is he'll get it, he'll give it, he'll get it back. And when the opportunity opens up for him to pass, he needs runners. He needs runners to make a run, and he will find them. I mean, that pass, he passed to Eddie, that little dink over the top.
Eddie should have hit that. What are you doing, Kev? What are you doing there, Kev?
Well, look, listen, Eddie, again, Eddie's come on and he's hot and he's running around. He's just probably not at the pace of the game, so. You know, we see it. We would, let's hit it first time. Obviously, he's trying to make sure. He's trying to get it down to make sure. But, you know, maybe next time if Eddie's on, he will hit that first time. Because that was
Would you have hit that with your left?
No, right foot. He's coming, hit it with your right. His right foot, I hit it with the right. Definitely hit it with the right.
It was such a great pass, Kev. You're right. And he did many of those passes.
And if you remember rightly, Soph, we had some constructive points to make after the Crystal Palace game where we said, listen, Odegaard, you're captain.
Yes.
You were the armband. We want you to take the responsibility and shoot. And boy, Sophie, he must be listening to this podcast, Martin Odegaard. I salute you again. At ease, Martin Odegaard, because you're shooting and now you got 3 goals. Martin Odegaard, I want 10 out of you this season. I do. Because you know what? I think opposition are not respecting your game. Especially in and around the box. Odegaard's going to pass. He's going to pass. Surprise them, Martin. Shoot. 3 goals. Yeah. And let's be honest, so he took a little deflection, but you know what? If you don't shoot, you don't score.
But it was his movement before the shot, Kev, that was everything. You know, and exactly as you said, you know, apparently they do listen to the show because a lot of us podcasters will ask for clips. And I don't know if you heard Kev's voice in All or Nothing, but we were on there. I just remember I told you guys I just got the what? My voice was what? And then I got cut. I ended up like I'm Kevin Costner in The Big Chill. I ended up on the editing room floor. But I think they do. And Callum Chambers said to us too, he's like, yeah, we watch and we listen to stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But I love how he's come out totally differently since that Palace game, Kev.
He's taking the responsibility, I think.
So
More
is he
responsibility.
taking it, or as a player, can you talk me through, is Arteta putting his arm around him saying, look, shoot, be brave, do all these things? What do you think is happening as a player taking us into that dressing room?
If you remember after the Palace game, I said that I think they'd probably go back and watch the video, and he's going to be kicking himself because, sometimes on the pitch, you don't realize how much time you've got. But he would probably be watching that video, and the coaching staff and everyone would say, shoot, just shoot. Don't worry about it. Shoot. You miss. But you've got to shoot. While you're there, you've got to shoot. And I think he's taken that on, Soph. He's captain. He's taken that on. You want to lead by example? You've got to be the one who shows this team. Yeah. You've got to be the captain. And maybe you're not the vocal one, but you've got to be the one who shows the team, okay, we're going to get to grips with this. Brought us back into it. He's giving that to the crowd, and the crowd are up. And that's what we want, Soph. That is what we want. And again, we're not saying he's a Tony Adams or a Patrick Vieira, because he's not that type of player. But he is a schemer who we need to make us better. And boy, does he make us better. When he's playing like this, so he makes us so much better.
Yeah, Kev, a couple of my Real Madrid mates text me over the weekend and said, I can't believe we let him go, with an aging Modric and a Toni Kroos, who's also, getting to...
Wrong side of 30. They're wrong. Yeah, both of them wrong side of 30 now.
All right, you guys are listening to the Highbury Squad. We've got the legend Super Kev. We are here live from London and another part in England. We never disclose Super Kev's location because he is our James Bond. I will be at the Aston Villa game on Wednesday, Kev. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But before we get to the questions, very quickly, are you worried about Saka's performances at all? There are some fans that felt like he did well in this game because, he did all of the grafting and the hard work. I talked to you earlier on, in the first game of the season about how I was happy that he didn't have to feel like he had to be the hero every single game this season. What's your take on Saka? And if you think we had that extra wide player, would he be the type of player that would be rested on Wednesday night against Aston Villa?
Not necessarily, because when you look at Saka, a lot of the time, Saka does pretty well. He grafts. And you know what? He's a threat. You see it when he picks the ball up. You see how many players come towards him. So that's why he tends to get the ball. He turns to his left and he hits it inside. And then we try and build. And to be fair to him, he had a great opportunity. He probably should have scored as well in the first half. He gets a goal. He's up and running. That's what we need. We need him to get a goal. Martinelli's got a few. Jesus has got a few. Saka hasn't scored yet. But I still think he's all right. I'm hearing people saying Saka looks tired. I don't know what.
Again?
I don't know what. 4 games in. I don't know what people are talking about. So, Sophie, we're going to be all right. Listen, again, if we've got the players to rotate, it's up to the manager to be able to rotate how he sees fit. Because you know what? You know what's coming. Soon it's going to be Saturday, midweek, Sunday, midweek, Sunday. We're going to go 2-3 games a week. So we're going to need to be able to make some moves. That's why probably we're saying we probably need another couple to come in just to make us feel a little bit better.
Yeah. All right, let's get to your questions here for Super Kev. Let's see this. Billy Boy, do you think Adu is sticking too religiously to signing players of the right age profile? We could do with a short-term experience solution before picking up Tielemans on a free. I'll jump in here real quick before I hand it to you, Kev. I think Adu's done a superb job. And when we talk about the transformation of the Arsenal, I would like fans and the media to please, when they say Mikel Arteta changing the DNA and the culture of the club, absolutely 100% on the pitch. But Adu has been instrumental in evolving our team, getting rid of crap at a price that is no price, and selling the owners on getting rid of players at no price because he couldn't get any value for them, Kev. I think Edu knows what he's doing. Am I off on that, or am I right on that?
No, you're right on that. But Billy Boy, I don't think he's sticking too religiously to signing players. I think Arsenal need to get the right players in. And they're not just gonna take any player. It's got to be the right player. So they're gonna stick to that religiously. Signing the right player, not bad eggs. Not just because, he's available. They're not gonna do that. As I've proven. And you know what, Sophie? If we don't sign anybody, we've got that this squad needs to take us up until January. It probably could
with a World Cup in the middle, Kev.
Yeah, but it could probably take us to January. But as fans, we want to make sure we're overcompensated. We're over ready. That's why we probably could say we need 2 more.
And I think what you're saying is correct, because we weren't willing to compromise our financial integrity to sign the butcher. We weren't willing to do that either, with Paqueta. We weren't willing to do that with a couple of other players that we were in for at a certain time. And whether or not the Netos of the world or the Tielemans come in, we'll see. Kev, let's look at this one. So here's a question, which is the $1 million question right now. This week's going to be crazy. Neto, Zaha. I have a feeling my gut feeling is that we're not signing anyone else. But that's just my opinion. Kev?
Well, let me answer this question, Gary. Neto or Zaha? Zaha, you could probably say you get him for 3 years. Neto could be 5 years. And he's young. What is he? 22, 23 Neto? At the moment, I'd say probably Zaha carries the bigger goal threat. Doesn't he? He carries the bigger goal threat. And he'll be one-on-one a lot of times with fullbacks. So he might probably be more dangerous on a goal scoring front. But I still think Neto will be good for this team if we got him. So, probably Wilfried Zaha, same as Gary, but I wouldn't turn my nose up at Neto because I think him in this team improves us and it improves him as well.
And Kev, one of the things that you love and that I love is Premier League experience. Both of those players have that.
Both of those have it. So they'll be coming in. There's no room for, settling in period. They could hit the ground running, both of them.
So, Kev, there's a few people asking you about free agents, and I'm not fully aware. I don't have a list. I don't know if I'm underprepared for that or whatever, but a few of our listeners are asking you, there's some free agents out there. Is anyone on your radar?
No. I'll tell you why none of them are on my radar, because they're not fit. The free agents aren't fit. So even if we get them, they won't be ready until probably 4 weeks.
So Kev,
it makes no sense. You might as well get somebody in who's fit, ready to go.
A lot of questions about Vieira and how you would use him. A lot of the squaddies want to know your thoughts on that. Because he hasn't played yet, and everyone keeps talking about wide players, but we have maybe a couple of people that are not starting right now that could also fulfill that role, Kev.
Yeah, he's got to adjust. Remember, he's just come from Portugal. He's got to adjust. He's got to train. Got to understand what's going to be demanded of him. He's not the biggest player. He's pretty slight as well, so they're going to probably want to beef him up, toughen him up a little bit. But one thing about that young man is he's got an eye for a pass, and he's not afraid to shoot. So sometimes you might see Xhaka come off and him come on for that left side of midfield where You know where we get Xhaka getting into the box? Vieira getting into the box is a completely different proposition than Xhaka. Xhaka's done really well, don't get me wrong. But if you get a specialist who can pick a pass and can shoot, who's more of a forward than the midfielder, really, attacking midfielder, I think we're in business. But he's got to adjust. And that's why if you sign too many players from abroad, a lot of the time it takes them a little bit of time to adjust.
Yeah. Okay, almost 900 of you in live chat. Kiss, nut, like, love, but
slide it into the corner.
Slide it into the top bins.
The light corner. Come on.
Kev, this is my good friend from LA's tuned in, Stamy Karakasides. She just turned 50 2 days ago, Super Kev. 50.
Welcome to the club. Stamy, welcome to the club. It's a great club. I'm telling you, it's a great club.
Yes.
Life used to begin at 40. It begins at 50 now, Stammy.
50's the new 40,
really
Stammy. Absolutely. Hope you've had a good one. I'm sure the Fam Jam have absolutely spoiled you rotten. Kev, everyone's talking about the Ukrainian Neymar. I'm gonna say I don't know too much about him, Kev. I'm not going to sit here and profess to be an expert. I know my football and I know a lot of stuff, but do you know much about him?
I don't know much about him. I've seen him play a couple of times. He's lively, but you're not taking him over Neto or Zaha. So that tells you everything.
Yeah,
plus he would have to adjust to the Premier League. There's a lot more. You know, there's a lot more to it than, you know, just the name. But he's a good player. He's a good player, good young player.
Is he someone that you think we should be focusing on, or he wouldn't be your first choice at this point?
No, that's what I'm saying. Neto or Zaha.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's down the pecking order. Okay.
All right. So let's move on to, by the way, Kev, I've eaten so much already and I've only been here 2 days.
Good.
I've been eating souvlakia, sheftayez, tahini, tzatziki, bites. I've been smashing the Greek food, you know, doing it all. Going to have pies tomorrow. I mean, it's all happening here, Kev. I'm going to have to go on a Super Kev fitness regime when I get back to
get your burpees in.
Exactly. I just need to go running with Vinny and Vesper, I think, when I get back. Tony will be looking forward to that. Okay. The wide forward, Kev, you've talked about it already. You've talked about your ideal competition. Do you think it's competition for Saka? Do you think it's competition for Martinelli?
Everyone. It's got to be everyone. Everyone. You know what? The Gakpo's still available, isn't he?
I would love him. If we're going to talk,
Gakpo, big, imposing. You know, he's got that height that we could hit as well. He's good in the air. You know, that might be one who you just never know.
This is the $1 million question that many people are asking, Kev. 900 plus in live chat right now. Cover for Partey more important than the wide forward?
You could say another midfielder, but that don't necessarily mean cover for Partey. I think we've already got cover for Partey. I think Mohamed El-Neni is cover for Partey. Mikel Arteta likes El-Neni to do that job, which is fine. But I think we need to make sure that we're more of a threat going forward now, which we've proven we can be. Because do you know what? The reason why we suffered without Thomas Partey is because we couldn't put the ball away a lot of the time when he weren't there. We start being able to put the ball away like we did at the weekend. All of a sudden, we change. We don't miss him as much.
Lynn seems to think Kev Arteta seems to be the one. Why not pay 50 million for Neto?
Arteta seems to be the one. Why not pay the 50 million for Neto? It's not just necessarily about 50 million, Lynn, because you see what happens is the moment you say, okay, we'll give you 50 million, you've seen what happens with Morgan Gibbs-White. It started off at 25. It started off at 25. In the end, with all the add-ons, it's like 40-something million. So you might say, okay, we give you 50 million, and then they could turn around and say, no, we want 60. As has happened with Martinez, Anthony. I mean, look where that started and look where that finished.
Look at Fofana, Kev.
Again, it's incredible. It's incredible what's going on. So, again, it's not just a matter of Wolves said we want 50 million and then you put it down and then he sold. No, doesn't work like that. You offer 50 million, they then turn around and say, we want 60.
Kev, nothing's happening with Maitland-Niles, some of the other players that we've talked about. You know, are they coming? Are they going? There's a few questions about, you know, this is the part of the transfer window where those late, last-minute loan deals happen. Do you expect, you know, these kind of players that are on that periphery that are looking to get shifted? Do you feel that that's going to happen? It seems a little slow and quiet on that front with some of them.
I think a few have gone. There's quite a few have gone. There's only a couple of stragglers behind.
Bellerin is one that's still kind of.
Yeah, I think, you know, in the last knock-ins, I think it will get done eventually, because what's the point in them being around and just, you know, not playing, not being involved in the squad? Makes no sense. Footballers, if you got anything about you, you want to play. You want to play football. So I expect Maitland-Niles, I expect Bellerin to leave the club. I think Bellerin obviously will leave the club fully for good, and wish him well. And I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles will probably go on loan.
Yeah. Southampton are one of the teams. I think Southampton, I think Bournemouth is one that, you know, a lot of folks are talking about, maybe Kev, him going to.
Well, they need some players in Bournemouth.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Reece Nelson's in the plans either, though, Kev. I think
he can't. He's injured. He's injured. So
yeah, and he's loaned. Yeah. Kev, thanks for that insight. These clubs just keep naming outrageous prices. We play desperate. Exactly. Edu is cooking something and it's not on his barbecue.
Hey, Sophie, speaking of Edu, do you remember this time last season, probably a bit sooner last season, when he was on the yacht and people were losing their head about Edu's on the yacht, what's he doing going on holiday? And let the man do his work.
Let it marinate.
Let it marinate. Let Edu cook. Because you know what? Do you know what will give the fan base? You know this, so what will give the fan base a massive boost? If we could bring in one or two quality players.
one more. Even one.
Just before we'd be like, we're ready. We're good.
Totally. Kev, look what I found in George's garden today.
the Gunner Gnome.
The Gunner Gnome.
Gunner Gnome, look at that.
How cute is he? He's like Santa. I'm going to take him back with me to LA, I think. I'm just going to put him in my bag and not tell him about it. He's adorable, isn't he?
He could get another one.
All right, we're 1 hour and 2 minutes in this fine Monday madness. There are, I don't know, my digits have gone off. I don't know if I'm losing internet connection. There's 900 of you in live chat. A couple more questions here for Super Kev. The World Cup, Kev, a lot of people starting to talk and look ahead to a schedule, what's coming just before the World Cup and where they think we'll sit. I think this is going to affect a lot of teams. Of course, City are lucky because Haaland's not going to the World Cup, which means we're lucky because Odegaard's not going. Salah is not going for Liverpool, but there'll be plenty of our players and also from other teams. Is it all fair in love and war, Super Kev? Everyone has to go at some point?
Well, a lot of teams are going to have players at the World Cup. Some teams are going to have less, some teams are going to have more. But, you know, that's where the camaraderie and the team ethic comes in, so we saw it last season. You know, when our boys went away on international duty and they came back, we were never right straight after that. It took us a bit of time to get going, especially the last international one where we came back. We played Palace, Brighton and Southampton and lost all three. You know, the camaraderie of the team, whether you go away and you come back, we've got to get that feeling back within the team. And that's going to be a big test for us. But it's going to be a big test for a lot of teams. So we need as many points on the board as we can.
Epic. Our chief like officer, Tammy Steele's in the house, is saying 438 likes. We've had around 900. Kev, are you happy with that number? Are you happy?
No, I'm not happy because we need minimum half. And I know we're only 12 off. So I'm not going to go crazy, guys. But let's just hit the like. Come on.
We're to
Let's
450. 453 right now. So
We'll
if you get us to 12, and then we'll leave. We're not leaving until you get us to 12, which
no,
means
we're not
you
leaving
get
yet because we've got to talk about Villa.
right. So exactly, here we go. Kev, Villa are horrific. They are not playing well, but we cannot take any team for granted, Kev.
No, we can't. And Diego Carlos getting injured at the back for them
is massive.
A big loss for them. But we want it to be something huge for us because they're not as strong at the back. We want Jesus to feed. We want him to feed. And this is a game we've got to win. They're all must-win games. I know that. But, when we, at the start of the season, we said, 5 wins, we've got to win 5 games. Sometimes it's not going to be 5 games. Sometimes it's not going to be that way. But the Arsenal have been performing. So you know what? We get to 4 and we're at the Emirates against a struggling Aston Villa. Listen, we've got to take them to task. We've got to take them to task. I fancy our chances against Villa. I fancy us to beat them. I fancy Jesus to have an absolute worldie and score a couple. I think we win the game pretty similar to how we did last season. What is it? 3-1 we beat them?
Yeah.
Or whatever. I think we could do. I love clean sheets, but we haven't kept a clean sheet at the Emirates yet. So come on. I'd love 3-0.
I would agree. I agree with Steve. It would be massively disappointing if we don't beat Aston Villa. And here's the scoop, Kev. We've started the season winning games that we should, whereas last season we lost games we shouldn't have, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got to beat Bournemouth. You've got to beat Crystal Palace. You've got to beat Fulham. You just have to beat these teams.
Leicester.
You've got to beat Leicester, who are struggling.
Villa.
Yeah. So here we are, Villa. Steven Gerrard under the cosh, favourite for the sack race right now. He spent a lot of money. They're coming to us. We've got all the confidence. I think Jesus is going to be really angry he hasn't scored in the last couple games, Super Kev, and I fancy him to get a little bit of an unleashing type of evening under the lights at the Emirates. I'm going to go for a 3. I'm going to go for the clean sheet. I'm going to go for 4-0, Kev. Change my mind.
You're going 4. I'll go 3.
Okay.
I'll go 3-0. And yeah, I think Jesus is gonna have it's his first game under the lights at the Emirates.
I think he's going to shine bright.
There you go.
I really do. I think he's jonesing. You tell me. We're gonna take everyone out on this. You're the striker, right? You see, you do all the right things in a game. You just can't get that goal. Someone like him, I just feel like he's ready to pop.
He's ready to pounce. He's ready to pounce. As we know, every game is different. And you know what? Sometimes we need Jesus to do a lot more work off the ball, fetching and carrying. At one stage, he was playing wide, wasn't he? At one stage, the guy is a workhorse who does whatever it takes to win. Now we're going to need the number 9 Jesus on Wednesday. We need him to be the number 9. Get some service from Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard, and let's get him cracking again at the Emirates.
Let's do it. All right, brilliant show this evening. Super Kev, as always, delivering an absolute gem of a show from you. Everyone who's joined us, 900 plus of you in the house at one point, just beautiful on a bank holiday Monday here in England. I was happy to be here on a bank holiday Monday, Kev. Meant that I could just be a bit lazy other than this evening.
You could chill out. You could chill out, can't you?
Yeah, just getting ready for the show tonight. Although my cousin George just keeps feeding me. It's ridiculous. I can't eat any more this evening, Kev. It's late anyway. That European eating late night thing is just
Sophie, you liar.
I mean, I might have a dirty kebab in a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You only live once.
Listen, guys, don't forget. You've seen the ticker tape at the bottom. Our good friends at Zenith Coins. Please do go visit Zenith Coins, zenithcoins.com, and use code HS20, and you can get yourself a beautiful, beautiful coin. We've put the final touches on our design, and they will be coming in the next few weeks. So we're excited to share that with you guys. An exclusive Highbury Squad coin is coming your way. And remember, Zenith Coins are the official licensed partner of our Arsenal Football Club. HS20 is your code. It's a great gift for your mates. It's a collectible item, comes with a certificate of authenticity. And we're very proud to be partnering with Zenith this season. Also, Kev, I know you won't be there this weekend because you've got a ton of stuff going on this week with all your teams playing. Gooners v Cancer. Go to gvclive.com, people. Gooners v Cancer event on Friday in Hackney. You will have the opportunity to say hi to a bunch of podcasters that you love and adore. And Mike is doing his magic once again to raise money for an absolutely phenomenal cause. So please do go buy your ticket. It's only £5. You buy a ticket for £5, you can win a collectible Arsenal signed shirt from players past and present. It really is an incredible cause. And Kev, there's going to be some great people down there. And if they're not on the panel, just great people that listen to the show that are going to come down as well. And I know that you are very proud of Mike and the work that he does for Gooners v Cancer.
Yeah, Magic does incredible work. And, you know, it's great to see everybody supporting him. You know, the panel and everybody who's going to attend. So if you get the opportunity and you've got the time, spend a £5 and go and see Sophie and the panel and everyone. And the newly married, congratulations to Tom Canton as well.
Yes, our boy Tom Canton, finally taken. He and his beautiful wife celebrating their nuptials. And also our good friend Jack Stevenson got married as well, Super Kev.
Well, there you go.
This weekend as well.
See, there you go.
Oh, Yanto, yes, the piano. On Friday is my birthday. How about this?
Oh, go on, Stove.
Oh, I thought I had it.
Never mind.
I'll have my nephew Rocco play for us on the next show. How about that? Super Kev, why don't you take us out?
Gooners, you know we love you. Tell your loved ones you love them. And remember this, and remember this well. The Arsenal family have to stay together because the celebration police don't want us to celebrate good times. Come on. At ease, squaddies. At ease.
Let's find the button, people. You know, it takes me time, especially when I'm on location. Here we go.
It's a celebration.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
One's here. I love it. Kenny's in the house, Kev. My work football daily buddy. I used to present with him. It's all happening tonight. Okay, fine. We will close the show. Where's the other button? Hold on.
The Highbury Squad is powered by Zenith Coins. Support the future, treasure the past. Official licence partner of the Arsenal Football Club. Follow at Zenith Coins across all social platforms.